Listen closely, my friends. There is a dangerous illusion that controls most people without them ever noticing it. They believe they are in charge of their minds. They believe they make their own decisions. But if that were true, why do they keep repeating the same habits, the same mistakes, and the same promises they never keep? The truth is unsettling. For most people, the mind is not a servant. It is the master. Every day, invisible commands are being issued from within. Stay comfortable, avoid discomfort, delay the work, chase the pleasure. And without questioning those commands, people obey. They call it personality. They call it motivation. They call it just who I am. But the Stoics saw it differently. They understood that an untrained mind is like a wild horse, powerful but dangerous when left without a rider. Marcus Aurelius wrote reminders to himself, not because he lacked wisdom, but because he knew the mind constantly drifts toward weakness. Left alone, it seeks comfort over growth, impulse over discipline, and distraction over purpose. The battle was never against the world. The battle was always against the voice inside that says, later. Imagine what would happen if your mind stopped controlling you. Imagine if your attention moved where you commanded it to move. If your actions followed your decisions instead of your emotions. If doubt, fear, and distraction no longer had the authority to dictate your life. Most people spend years trying to change their circumstances while never learning to command the one thing that creates those circumstances, the mind itself. In this video, you will discover 7 Stoic lessons to train your mind to obey. Not through motivation, not through positive thinking, but through principles that have forged disciplined minds for centuries. These lessons are not designed to make you feel good. They are designed to make you stronger. Because the moment your mind learns who is truly in command, everything begins to change. Lesson 1. Stop negotiating with yourself. The mind has a favorite weapon, and most people never realize they're being attacked by it. It doesn't scream. It doesn't force. It negotiates. Do it later. Skip it just this once. You deserve a break. The voice sounds reasonable, almost intelligent. That is why it is so dangerous. Weakness rarely arrives wearing the face of weakness. It arrives disguised as logic. And every time you entertain the conversation, you give your mind another chance to take control. Think about how many battles have been lost before they even began. Not because of a lack of talent, not because of a lack of opportunity, but because a person stood at the edge of action and started negotiating with themselves. The workout became tomorrow. The goal became next week. The difficult conversation became next month. 1,000 small negotiations slowly turned into a life filled with unfinished promises. The tragedy is not the failure itself. The tragedy is that the mind learns from every surrender. The Stoics understood something most people never learn. The moment a decision has been made, the debate must end. Marcus Aurelius did not wake up each morning asking himself whether he felt like fulfilling his responsibilities. He reminded himself that he had a duty to fulfill. Modern people often wait for motivation before they move. The Stoics moved first and allowed motivation to catch up later. That single difference separates disciplined people from everyone else. Imagine a king who asks permission from his servants every time he wants something done. No kingdom would survive. Yet that is exactly how many people treat their own minds. They issue a command, then immediately ask their emotions whether they approve of it. The result is chaos. Emotions are valuable advisors, but terrible rulers. The moment you place them on the throne, discipline begins to collapse. Training your mind to obey starts with ending unnecessary negotiations. When it is time to work, work. When it is time to learn, learn. when it is time to act, act. Not because you feel powerful, not because you feel inspired, but because you made a decision. Every time you follow through without arguing, you send a message to the mind. The order has already been given. At first, the resistance will be fierce. The mind will offer excuses, distractions, and perfectly crafted reasons to delay. It has spent years operating without discipline. It will not surrender control quietly. But every time you refuse the negotiation, something begins to change. The voice becomes weaker, the hesitation becomes shorter, the command becomes stronger. One day you realize something extraordinary has happened. The battle that once consumed so much energy has almost disappeared. Not because life became easier, but because your mind finally learned a lesson it had resisted for years. It learned that once you decide, the discussion is over. And that is the moment obedience begins. Lesson 2. Become bigger than your impulses. Most people believe their greatest enemy is outside of them. They blame difficult circumstances, toxic people, bad luck, or a lack of opportunities. But the Stoics would have disagreed. They knew that the most dangerous enemy lives much closer. It appears every time an impulse demands immediate satisfaction. Every time anger demands a reaction. Every time comfort demands surrender. Every time distraction demands attention. The tragedy is that most people obey these impulses so quickly that they mistake them for their own identity. Imagine standing beside a river during a violent storm. The current is powerful, restless, and constantly pulling everything in its path. That river is your impulse. Most people jump into it without thinking. The moment they feel anger, they become anger. The moment they feel fear, they become fear. The moment they feel temptation, they become temptation. They never stop long enough to realize that the observer and the impulse are not the same thing. This is where true mental strength begins. The moment you understand that every impulse is simply a visitor, not a commander. A thought may enter your mind, but that does not mean it deserves obedience. An emotion may appear, but that does not mean it deserves authority. The Stoics trained themselves to create space between feeling and action. In that small space, freedom exists. In that space, the mind learns discipline. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He knew that a person who cannot resist an impulse is not free, no matter how powerful they appear. They may command armies, build wealth, and earn admiration, but if a simple emotion can control their behavior, they remain a prisoner. Real power is not measured by what you can control around you. It is measured by what you can control within you. Watch what happens when an impulse arrives. It always speaks with urgency. It says, "Do it now. Respond now. React now." It wants speed because speed prevents awareness. The impulse knows that if you pause long enough to observe it, its power begins to weaken. Like a shadow exposed to sunlight, it cannot survive under conscious attention for very long. Most people spend their lives strengthening their impulses. They feed them every day, every distraction followed, every craving satisfied, every emotional reaction expressed without thought. They are unknowingly training their minds to become servants of every passing feeling. Then they wonder why focus disappears, discipline feels impossible, and peace remains out of reach. The Stoic path is different. When an impulse arrives, you do not immediately obey it. You study it, you observe it, you watch it rise and fall like a wave, and something remarkable begins to happen. The more you refuse automatic obedience, The more your mind understands that impulses no longer hold authority, the throne has changed owner. One day, anger will knock at your door and find no servant waiting. Fear will demand your attention and receive only observation. Distraction will call your name and be met with silence. And in that moment, you will discover a level of strength that most people never experience. Because the mind finally learns a lesson that changes everything. You are not the impulse. You are the one who decides whether the impulse is obeyed. Lesson 3. Kill the need for immediate rewards. One of the greatest weaknesses of the human mind is that it constantly wants proof before it commits. It wants results before effort, rewards before sacrifice, success before discipline. The mind says, "Show me the outcome first, and then I'll give you my best." But life has never worked that way. The most valuable things are hidden behind uncertainty, and the people who achieve them are usually the ones willing to walk forward without guarantees. Look closely at how most people live. They start a habit and expect immediate progress. They begin learning a skill and expect immediate mastery. They work toward a goal and expect immediate recognition. When the reward doesn't arrive quickly enough, their motivation collapses. Not because the path was wrong, but because their minds were addicted to instant gratification. They were not serving a purpose. They were chasing a feeling. The Stoics understood a truth that modern culture tries to hide. The greatest rewards in life grow slowly. Character grows slowly. Wisdom grows slowly, discipline grows slowly, mental strength grows slowly. Yet most people abandon these pursuits because the early stages feel invisible. They cannot see the transformation happening beneath the surface, so they quit. What they don't realize is that the strongest foundations are always built underground before they become visible above it. Imagine planting a tree. For months, you may see very little change. From the outside, it appears as if nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, roots are spreading deeper and wider. The tree is preparing itself for future growth. Human development follows the same law. Every disciplined action strengthens roots that nobody can see. Every temptation resisted adds another layer of strength. Every promise kept to yourself deepens the foundation of your character. The mind hates this process because it cannot immediately celebrate it. It wants applause. It wants evidence. It wants rewards now. That is why so many people remain trapped in cycles of distraction. Social media offers instant rewards. Comfort offers instant rewards. Entertainment offers instant rewards. The modern world constantly trains the mind to expect immediate satisfaction, and the more it receives it, the weaker it becomes. To train your mind to obey, you must teach it a new standard. You must stop asking, "What will I get today?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming?" This single shift changes everything. When identity becomes more important than rewards, discipline becomes sustainable. You no longer act because of what you receive. You act because of who you are choosing to become. Marcus Aurelius never knew that millions of people would still read his words nearly 2,000 years later. Yet he continued the work anyway. He continued refining his character without demanding immediate rewards from the world. That is the mindset of a disciplined mind. It understands that greatness is often invisible while it is being built. Eventually, a moment arrives that most people never reach. The mind stops demanding constant rewards. It stops asking for proof. It stops bargaining for comfort, and something extraordinary takes its place. Quiet confidence. The confidence that comes from knowing you can continue forward even when there is no applause, no recognition, and no immediate result. Because true obedience begins when your mind learns to work for a purpose greater than pleasure. And the moment that lesson is learned, discipline stops feeling like a struggle and starts becoming part of who you are. Lesson 4. Make your mind earn your trust. There is a reason most people feel powerless when they try to change. It is not because they lack intelligence. It is not because they lack potential. It is because a silent relationship has been broken, the relationship between a person and their own word. Every time you promise yourself that you will start tomorrow and fail to do it, a small crack appears. Every time you commit to discipline and surrender to comfort, another crack forms. Eventually, the mind stops believing what you say. And when your own mind no longer trusts you, every goal becomes heavier than it should be. Imagine hiring a soldier to guard a kingdom. On the first night, he abandons his post. On the second night, he disappears again. On the third night, he breaks his promise once more. How much trust would you place in that soldier? None. Yet this is exactly how many people treat themselves. They repeatedly break their own commitments and then wonder why confidence feels weak. Confidence is not created by positive thinking. It is created by evidence. And your mind is always collecting evidence. Most people try to command their minds without first earning authority. They shout orders at a mind that has watched them quit hundreds of times. They demand discipline from a mind that remembers every excuse. They ask for focus from a mind trained on distraction. Then they become frustrated when obedience does not come. What they fail to understand is that trust cannot be demanded. It must be earned. The Stoics understood that character is built through repetition, not intention. Marcus Aurelius did not become respected because of what he planned to do. He became respected because of what he repeatedly did. The same principle governs your relationship with your own mind. Every action is a vote. Every promise kept is evidence. Every commitment honored is proof that your word still has value. This is why small victories are far more important than dramatic goals. Most people are obsessed with massive transformations. They want to change their entire life in a single burst of motivation. The mind sees through this immediately. It has heard these speeches before. What it trusts are actions, quiet actions, repeated actions, the kind that happen when nobody is watching, the kind that continue long after excitement disappears. Think of your mind as a courtroom. Every day, evidence is presented. Excuses appear as evidence. Delays appear as evidence. Discipline appears as evidence. Courage appears as evidence. At the end of each day, a verdict is reached. The verdict answers a single question: can this person be trusted? Most people never realize they are participating in this trial every day of their lives. The moment your mind begins to trust your word, something remarkable happens. Resistance weakens. Decisions become easier. Discipline requires less force. Not because the challenges disappeared, but because the mind no longer questions your authority. It has seen enough proof. It has seen enough consistency. It finally understands that when you make a decision, you intend to follow through. One promise kept means little. 10 promises kept create momentum. 100 promises kept create identity. Eventually, your mind stops seeing discipline as something you occasionally do. It begins seeing discipline as who you are. And once that identity is established, obedience no longer feels forced. It feels natural. Because the strongest minds are not trained through motivation. They are trained through trust. And trust is built every time your actions prove that your word still means something. Lesson 5. Stop identifying with every thought. Most people spend their entire lives trapped inside a prison they cannot see. The bars are not made of iron. The walls are not made of stone. The prison is built from thoughts they never questioned. A thought appears and they immediately believe it. A doubt appears and they immediately obey it. A fear appears and they immediately become it. They have lived this way for so long that they no longer know where the thought ends and where they begin. Imagine standing in the middle of a crowded marketplace. Hundreds of voices are shouting at once. Some are telling the truth, others are lying. Some are useful, others are dangerous. Would you blindly obey every voice you hear? Of course not. Yet this is exactly how most people treat their own minds. Every negative thought is accepted as fact. Every fear is treated as prophecy. Every doubt is treated as reality. The mind speaks, and they surrender without question. The Stoics understood a truth that remains just as powerful today as it was 2,000 years ago. A thought is not a command. A thought is not a prediction. A thought is not even necessarily true. It is simply a visitor. And visitors do not deserve authority simply because they arrived. The moment you understand this, the relationship between you and your mind begins to change. Consider how often your mind has lied to you. It told you that you could not handle difficulties you eventually survived. It told you that failure would destroy you, yet you recovered. It told you that discomfort was unbearable, yet you endured it. Again and again, the mind presented fear as certainty. Again and again, reality proved otherwise. The problem is not that thoughts appear. The problem is that people rarely challenge them. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to examine his impressions before accepting them. He knew that the first interpretation of an event is often the most dangerous. An insult arrives, and the mind says, "You have been attacked." A setback arrives, and the mind says, "You are failing." A challenge arrives, and the mind says, "You cannot do this." Most people hear these messages and instantly obey. The Stoic pauses, the Stoic investigates, the Stoic asks, "Is this true?" That pause changes everything, because in that pause you begin to realize something extraordinary. You are not the voice in your head. You are the awareness listening to it. You are the observer standing behind the noise, and the observer always has a choice. The observer can reject a thought. The observer can question a thought. The observer can refuse to grant authority to a thought that has not earned it. The moment your mind learns that every thought will be examined instead of automatically obeyed, its power begins to weaken. Fear loses its certainty. Doubt loses its authority. Negative thinking loses its grip. For the first time, the mind realizes it must present evidence before it can influence your actions. This is where real freedom begins. Not when negative thoughts disappear, not when fear vanishes forever, but when you stop treating every thought as the truth. Because the strongest minds are not the ones that produce perfect thoughts. They are the ones that refuse to become servants of imperfect ones. And the day your mind learns that not every thought deserves obedience is the day you stop being controlled by the noise inside your head and start becoming the one who controls it. Lesson 6. Starve the voice that keeps you small. Inside every mind there are two voices fighting for control. One voice speaks the language of growth. It demands responsibility. It asks for courage. It pushes you toward discomfort because it knows that everything valuable lives on the other side of it. The other voice speaks a very different language. It seeks comfort, certainty, and safety. It wants you to stay where you are. It wants you to avoid risk. It wants you to remain the person you have always been. And the frightening truth is that most people spend their entire lives feeding the wrong voice. Every time you avoid a challenge, that voice grows stronger. Every time you remain silent when you should speak, it grows stronger. Every time you abandon a goal because the path became difficult, it grows stronger. At first, the changes seem invisible, but over time something dangerous happens. The voice that once whispered begins to speak with authority. Eventually, it becomes so loud that people mistake it for reality. Imagine a king who unknowingly feeds a traitor inside his own castle. Day after day, he gives the traitor food, shelter, and influence. Meanwhile, the loyal warrior who protects the kingdom receives nothing. Months pass, years pass. Eventually, the traitor becomes powerful enough to challenge the throne itself. This is exactly what happens inside the human mind. Every excuse obeyed strengthens weakness. Every act of discipline strengthens strength. The question is simple: which one are you feeding? The Stoics understood that character is not built in grand moments. It is built in invisible choices. A difficult task appears. One voice says, avoid it. Another says, face it. A fear appears. One voice says, retreat. Another says, advance. A temptation appears. One voice says, give in. Another says, stay disciplined. In every moment, a vote is being cast, and the person you become is determined by which voice receives the majority of those votes. Most people believe confidence comes before action. The Stoics knew the opposite was true. Action creates confidence. Courage creates courage. Discipline creates discipline. Every time you obey the stronger voice, even when it feels uncomfortable, you make it easier to hear the next time. Like a muscle strengthened through resistance, it grows more powerful with every challenge you overcome. But the opposite is also true. Every excuse carries a hidden cost. Every surrender teaches the mind a lesson. Every retreat becomes evidence. The mind is always learning. It is always adapting. And if you repeatedly obey weakness, weakness eventually becomes your default setting. What began as a choice slowly transforms into an identity. This is why training your mind is not simply about learning new ideas. It is about deciding which voice deserves authority. One voice wants comfort today and regret tomorrow. The other wants discomfort today and strength tomorrow. One promises relief. The other promises growth. One keeps you small. The other reveals what you are capable of becoming. The strongest people are not those who never hear the voice of weakness. They hear it every day. The difference is that they stopped feeding it. They stopped rewarding it. They stopped treating it like a king. Instead, they starved it through action, discipline, and courage until it became nothing more than background noise. And eventually, something remarkable happens. The voice that once controlled your life becomes too weak to command it, while the voice that once struggled to be heard becomes the voice that leads you forward. That is the moment your mind begins to obey. Because whatever voice you feed today will be the voice that controls your future. Lesson 7. Become the person your mind cannot defeat. There comes a point in every person's life when knowledge is no longer the problem. They know what they should do. They know what habits would improve their life. They know what distractions are holding them back. They know the path, yet they remain stuck. Why? Because they are trying to win individual battles without changing the identity of the person fighting them. Most people approach discipline like a temporary activity. They try to force themselves to act differently while continuing to see themselves the same way. They say, I am trying to be disciplined. I am trying to be focused. I am trying to be strong. But hidden inside those words is a dangerous belief. The belief that discipline, focus, and strength are things outside of them. Things they occasionally visit, but never truly become. As long as that belief remains, the mind will continue to resist. Imagine a soldier entering a battlefield while secretly believing he is already defeated. Every decision becomes weaker. Every challenge feels larger. Every obstacle appears impossible. The battle is lost long before it begins. Identity works the same way. If you continue seeing yourself as someone who quits, your mind will search for evidence to support that identity. If you see yourself as someone who lacks discipline, your mind will protect that story. The mind always works hard to remain consistent with the person it believes you are. The Stoics understood that character is not built by what you occasionally do. Character is built by what you repeatedly prove. Marcus Aurelius did not wake up each morning hoping to act like a disciplined man. He acted like one because discipline had become part of his identity. The action was no longer a struggle between two versions of himself. The decision had already been made. His behavior simply reflected who he believed he was. This is the secret most people never discover. The mind does not want evidence of what you wish to become. It wants evidence of what you already are. Every disciplined action is a vote. Every courageous decision is a vote. Every temptation resisted is a vote. Alone, those votes seem small, but over time, they begin constructing a new identity, an identity so strong that the mind can no longer argue against it. Think about a mountain shaped by thousands of years of wind and storms. No single gust created it. No single storm defined it. The shape emerged through repetition. Human character follows the same law. The strongest minds are not created through one moment of inspiration. They are sculpted through thousands of decisions that repeatedly reinforce the same message. This is who I am. Eventually, a remarkable transformation occurs. The things that once required willpower begin to feel natural, not because temptation disappeared, not because life became easier, but because your identity became stronger than your impulses. The mind stops asking whether you will stay disciplined. It already knows the answer. The mind stops questioning whether you will keep your word. It has seen too much evidence. The debate ends because the verdict has already been reached. This is the final stage of training your mind to obey. Not controlling every thought, not eliminating every weakness, not becoming perfect. It is becoming the kind of person your mind can no longer deceive. A person whose actions and identity have become one. Because when discipline becomes part of who you are, obedience is no longer forced. It becomes inevitable, and that is the moment true freedom begins. Not when you finally control your mind, but when your mind finally accepts that it is no longer in charge. For years, you believed the battle was against distraction, against fear, against laziness, against circumstances. But now you know the truth. Every battle was leading to the same destination. Every struggle was pointing toward the same question. Who is in command? The mind is a powerful servant, but a dangerous master. Left untrained, it will chase comfort over growth, pleasure over purpose, and impulse over discipline. It will convince you to delay what matters and pursue what doesn't. It will offer excuses that sound like wisdom and distractions that feel harmless. And if you never challenge it, it will quietly shape your entire life without your permission. But the moment you begin questioning it, observing it, and refusing to obey every thought that enters your head, something starts to change. The chains become visible. The patterns become obvious. The voice that once controlled you begins losing its authority. For the first time, the mind realizes it is no longer giving orders. It is receiving them. This transformation does not happen in a single day. It happens through thousands of small victories that nobody else will ever see. The moment you act despite resistance, the moment you reject an excuse, the moment you choose purpose over pleasure, the moment you keep a promise to yourself when nobody would have known if you broke it. These are the moments that reshape a human being. Most people spend their lives becoming servants of their impulses. A rare few decide to become masters of them. That is the path you have been shown today. Not the path of motivation, not the path of shortcuts, but the path of self-mastery. Because the strongest person in the room is not the loudest, not the richest, not the most admired. It is the person whose mind has finally learned a simple truth. The discussion is over, the command has been given, and the answer is action.